Well, hello there and happy November 30th. Of course, that's when I'm recording this, so you may be watching it another day, and if so, happy whatever day you're watching this. This is our December reading, and wow, where did November go? I'm not sure. It seems to have evaporated, and here we are, heading into the last month of 2017. Pretty crazy, right? So let's find out what's in store for us this month. We are working with the Everyday Witch Tarot, which I found a really interesting choice. I love the deck, don't get me wrong. It's just that given the tone of the season we're in, I thought it might be the good tarot again. Not the case. So that perhaps is an indication of shifting energy. Let's find out more about what that may mean. So, well, right off the bat with the Nine of Pentacles. And wow, what a beautiful card to have gifted to us as an indication of the energies of December. We notice that the woman is in repose. She is in great comfort. She is resting. She is reading, has beverage, has food, has plenty. There is for you a wish. We wish you will allow to be in plenty. Allow to be in fullness of your existence, fullness of your spirit, fullness of all love, all light, all that is. So, I want to first acknowledge that was a beautiful channeled message. I also want to acknowledge that there's a synergy with the card of the day for November 30th and the message that came through with it. And I posted it on Instagram and on Facebook. So if you're interested, you can check that out. I'll put the link to my Instagram account in the description of this video. The wish of our guides is that we surrender. The allowance is a surrendering, because most often we as humans, we want to believe that anything is possible. We want to believe that we can have a wholly abundant life, and yet our humanness and the structure of the social nature and, well, just the structure of human nature makes it that even though we may wish to believe that, and even though we may really invest in that belief, there's always perhaps a part of us that, whispers, that can't happen, that can't be. And we notice that Ellen is correct, and we notice that we wish for you to absolve yourself from that whisper. Everything is possible. Yeah, and so there's that surrendering. I mean, really, truly surrendering for all we're worth. As, I was going to say as much as we can, and the thing is, unfortunately, that puts a limitation. Because if we surrender, quote unquote, as much as we can, we may prevent ourselves from surrendering entirely, because we naturally put some kind of a measurement on how much we can surrender, or how much we believe we can surrender. And also, let's talk about what surrendering means. Does surrendering mean giving ourselves up, like vacating our bodies and letting another energy step in? No, no. We're not talking about a walk-in situation here. We're talking about surrendering to our own spirit. Okay? Wow. Okay, no more commentary, just moving on here. Wow, what an interesting follow-up card here. So, a different kind of rest with the Four of Swords, right? Here we have a rest that feels very, well, I was going to say in tune, and I feel that that fits, and yet that I don't want to say that this is not in tune, because this is a different form of being in tune. I'm feeling like Sleeping Beauty vibes here, looking at the spider webs. I feel like she's been maybe sleeping for a really long time. And we notice that this is perhaps symbolic of the humans who persist in being in the way of not remembering, the way of not awakening, the way of reasoning only with ego and forgetting that there is the energy of the soul which wishes to be in synergy with them. Yeah, so a different kind of rest here. So the way that they're talking, the way that our guides are talking, is that this is actually the opposite of this. This is what the question is, and why is this coming up after this? Is with the energies of masking this question of our guides, with the energies of December, is there a point where we're all going to wish to go back to sleep? And we would say that yes, and for the reason that sometimes it can be that with the awakening come challenges, with the awakening come a way of working and being which perhaps will ask that the human do more than they feel they are in ability of, and in this way they may wish to go back to sleep. Okay, so that feels like a gentle, it doesn't feel gentle, I want to make that really clear. It feels like a gentle warning that, or caution, that we may run into challenges that are going to make us say or feel that being fully awakened, fully in tune, fully surrendered, it maybe just isn't worth it. Could it be that the perception is it's easier to go back to sleep? And it's important here that this card is from the Suit of Swords. The Suit of Swords is the air card, the air sign, the air element, which is about oftentimes our brain thinking. And thinking is associated with ego. So here's the difference. Although Pentacles could be said to be sort of an ego thing in the sense that Pentacles can oftentimes indicate a lot of monetary stuff, physical abundance, things that we get stuck on, like having enough of something. In this instance, Pentacles is, this card is really about being, I just heard, being in sovereignty with our root chakra. What is our root chakra? The root chakra is the chakra of abundance, the chakra of, yes, survival, and the chakra of stability. You know, we talk about when we ground ourselves, the first thing we go to is our root chakra. Are we grounded? we think of our root chakra. So swords puts us squarely in our head, in that headspace of thinking, probably overthinking, all ego. Okay? And let's be honest, December can be a frenetic month. For all it's filled with light, the light of Hanukkah, the light of Christmas, the light of Kwanzaa, it can also, because of those things as well, be extremely frenetic. And, we get caught up in, what Uncle Bob is spouting around politics, what Cousin Henry, why are we talking about men here? I don't know. Cousin Henry is doing or not doing with his life, and how he's stirring the pot and making what was supposed to be a fun family gathering really, atrocious. So, don't go to sleep. Even in those challenging moments, even at the family gatherings where not everybody vibes with you, not everybody shares your politics, not everybody shares your perspectives, just be present. Be present. Surrender. Surrender to your spirit, your soul energy. Surrender to the situation. Surrender to the presence of it. And notice that you may not get as ruffled as you normally do. You may not get as riled up. You may find instead that you can simply love those you're with and love yourself. Okay? And we notice that this is what we wish for you to understand, and also that we have a conveyance for you. Okay, on to the next card. Well, I wouldn't call that a conveyance. So that's looking pretty sad there. Such an interesting grouping of cards here, looking at these together. So let's find out why we have this Five of Cups, which is the Five of Cups is, I always associate it with a form of grieving. In fact, oftentimes I see the Five of Cups more as a journey of grieving, because notice how here we have the overturned cups, and I apologize, I haven't pulled these cards up so you could really see them. Okay, let's try that. So notice how those cups are turned over. The wine is spilt. The witch is grieving, probably not just over the wine, but it's, that's symbolic of something she's missing or something she's lost. And then look above her. Look beside her, behind her. There's a basket with bread coming out of it. It looks like it's full, abundant. The table, it has upright goblets. It has another whole bottle of wine. There's a lobster there. There's plenty of food. And then look above that. Look at the balloons with their pretty ribbons. And notice that, yes, there are clouds in the sky, and yet all isn't lost. So we notice that for the purpose of the Five of Cups, we wish for you to understand that there is always grief involved when there is a change, when there is a release. And we notice that the energy of release from 2017 to 2018 could produce some of this grief, and yet we wish for you to understand also that past the grief comes celebration. Well, okay. some things coming up here, and I will be corrected if I'm misinterpreting. For a lot of people, 2017 has been challenging, to say the least. I know it has been for me. I'm getting really emotional here. It feels like in order to celebrate the abundance we have and the abundance that comes in with 2018, we need to permit ourselves to surrender to the grief of 2017. We need to grieve what we're leaving, grieve what has been, and in so doing, we open ourselves up to receive the celebratory energies of 2018, the abundance of 2018. And I feel like this circles right back around to our first card, which I will bring closer to so you can see that better. There's our first card, Nine of Pentacles. Full-on abundance. Full-on synergy. And our I was going to say medium card, middle card here. That's the Four of Swords. Rest. Rest, rest in terms of going back to sleep. Shirking our duties, as one of our guides just said, shirking your duties. I knew we were going to end up pulling another card, and I will continue talking about 2017's challenges, and I'll talk about it a little bit from my personal perspective, because 2017 started for me with my dad dying unexpectedly. That was February, mid-February he passed. And all of this year, my mom has dealt with a lot of health challenges. Are we using this card? Maybe. And they haven't stopped. It still hasn't, things are not yet resolved. So it has been indeed challenging, and I have to point out too, it just turned 10:11 my time. So we're getting some spirit affirmation numbers here. It's this one. And so I've already started doing some work around releasing the energy of 2017, because I don't want to bring that energy with me into 2018. There's no need to. And, when we stop and think about the way of being present, the way of being in the now, in that space, it's impossible to bring what was with us, because we only have what is. So if you think of it that way, it may seem simplistic, and you may think, well, easier said than done. Well, not necessarily. It's a choice. A lot of it is a choice. And the choice is how we choose to perceive it, how we choose to respond to it, what we do with it. Okay? So I have two cards over here on this side that I'm not sure if we're using or not. This is another one, and I want to know what this is for. We notice that we will use this to depict the energies of Mercury retrograde. Okay, so there's an opportunity coming for us too here in December. And yes, it is an opportunity that Mercury retrograde returns to help us close out 2017. It enters December 3rd with the full moon. And it continues through, I could have had my calendar up so I could tell you exactly. I know it ends right around the time of the solstice. I'm opening my Google Calendar because, yes, I do log the Mercury retrogrades into my calendar. I need to know what's going on. Let's see here. Mercury retrograde concludes Friday the 22nd, and the solstice is the solstice is the 21st. So, let's find out about Mercury retrograde. Oh my gosh, how perfect. So, I'm going to put this over here, and I will actually, let's do this first. Mercury retrograde is the moon. And that's so perfect, because the moon really aligns with our introspection, our intuitive introspection, our inner selves. And that's what Mercury retrograde invites, going inward, reviewing and releasing, reconsidering and releasing, reflecting and releasing. Notice I keep on saying releasing. It's the symbology in the card is really striking. If you look at the cat standing on the edge of that pond or pool, notice how its reflection is supersized. It looks like a cat as it's standing on the stone there, but its reflection looks more like a panther. And that's also symbolic of some of the work of Mercury retrograde. I would say some of the work here too, staying awake. Some of the work here too, grieving, is that sometimes we perceive things that are happening to us or things that have happened to us as being a lot more extreme than they actually were. That's the work of our ego, making a mountain out of a molehill, right? So with Mercury retrograde, we ask for you to permit yourself to reason with all that has transpired with 2017, that you may release energy to prepare to welcome 2018. Yeah, I mean, this is so much in line with Five of Cups. So very much. They're sisters, I just heard. They're sisters. So, let's see if there's anything else. Are we supposed to look at these cards? Okay, we'll look at the cards that plopped themselves out. Alrighty then. Look at these. Look at this. I wonder if they're in order. Which one are we supposed to look at first? Yeah. So, Two of Wands. So, Wands is fire energy. Wands is definitely an active energy, highly active. And in this case, notice that the figure is holding the world in his hand. And think about the symbolism of that, the symbology of that. Anything is possible. The energy of the world is as though in the palm of your hand, and all that you need do is open yourself to receive that energy. Open yourself and surrender to the energy of all that is, that you may have all. Wow. Wow. And again, it feels like, yes, it certainly falls into line with the energy of Nine of Pentacles, but I do feel like we're on a journey here. So, if And a yes, and I'm getting a yes on that. I just want to make sure. So you could say that this is beginning, middle, and end. Here's Mercury retrograde. I just heard a river. This is our river for December. And this energy is for stepping into, is what happens when we step into 2018. So this is, I just heard the cusp. This is standing on the cusp of 2017 and 2018. This is approaching midnight on December 31st. And as the countdown begins to lower that ball in Times Square, we're invited to open ourselves up to receive. How beautiful is that? It feels like I'm being shown, and it also feels like that this is the gift of doing all this other work. Here's our reward in a way. And it's a reward for work well done, time well invested, energy well invested. Okay? And let's see where we're going to put this one. I guess it can go over here. And would you look at this? The High Priestess. And I just heard spellbound. Yeah, I mean, look at those candles. Look at the point of her hat. It's like her hat is an antenna. It's so pointy. I mean, this witch's hat has some give to it. Even this witch's hat has some give to it. So does this one. Look at this. This one does too. You can see it's a bit soft. This one, it almost looks like it's made of metal or something because the structure of it, the point of it is so stiff in the way that it can reach what needs reaching, receive what needs receiving. It does work as an antenna and also as a satellite. It gives and receives. Notice her crystal ball, which is highly active. Her runes, which the cat is, I don't know if the cat is playing with it or the cat is actually encouraging the runes to come out of the bag. She has her cards laid out. Look at all her books. She is ready. She has everything she needs. The High Priestess is the priestess of her soul, the priestess of her intuition. And this is what promises in 2018. Wow. Yeah, so how's that? Well, okay, so something's coming up here. The number 2. The High Priestess is the number 2 card in the tarot. So I'm not going to dip too far into 2018 because I feel like it would be too big of a dip and make this video way longer than it already is. However, I will say that 2018 is an 11 year. How do we know it's an 11 year? We take 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 8. And that equals 11. In numerology, we do not transpose the 11. It stays as it is. It is a master number. And the High Priestess is definitely a master. This is a master card. What's interesting, though, is even though I said we're not going to transpose, is that the right word? It works. We're not going to transpose that 11, because if we did, we would add 1 plus 1 equals 2. But that's the point I want to make, because the High Priestess being the 2 card. So if we did actually transpose that 11, then, and again, I'm questioning my use of the word transpose. You know what I mean. transform. Let's use that instead. Transform the number 11. We don't do that, but if we did, it would be a 2, which would match the energy of the High Priestess. So yes, so that's again the promise of 2018. It's a master year. It's a mastery year. So is it any wonder that we have all of this here to go through in December so that we can be prepared for this? Because it feels like no one is going to be left behind in engaging with this energy, and either we're prepared for it or we aren't. For myself, I want to be prepared, so I'm willing to walk through this. In fact, I will make a point of walking through it. As I intimated, I've already been taking steps toward that. I'm doing a lot of stuff right now around digging, sifting through 2017 so I can lay to rest what needs laying to rest, and that way permit myself to step cleanly into 2018. Okay? And I'm told that includes embracing the energy of Mercury retrograde. So that's our reading for December. And I hope it's a benefit. If you have any questions or any insights of your own, I'd love to hear them. You can use comments for that, please. I encourage you too, if you feel like you need clarity, draw your own cards. Use your oracle cards, your tarot cards, whatever you have. And intend a question. If you have a question about this aspect of wanting to go back to sleep, and what does that mean specifically for you, draw a card and find out. Find out more about the energy of Mercury retrograde. Find out more about what you can do to help yourself move through the grieving process for 2017 so you can step into 2018. Okay? I would be remiss not to mention that I do have a couple of readings that I've made available on my site for the purpose of looking toward 2018 and actually looking at, stepping fully into 2018. So I have a New Year reading, which is a 2-card reading, and one card depicts the energetic theme for 2018, and the other is a call to action. And then the Wheel of the Year reading is a huge 16-card reading. It is deep. My description of it says it's about a 2,000-word reading. Actually, it's more like 3,000 words. So it's a really, really big reading. And I will put links to both of those also in the description for this video in case you're interested. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and wishing you a productive and beautiful December. May it bring you the gifts you need. May it show you what you need to see, and may it bring you to the shores of 2018 with all love. Peace.